Hello! Welcome once again, my friends, to yet another episode of Gacha Rock Roll.
Hello and welcome.
What was that?
I forgot to press my recording. I'm sad.
It's okay. We're just making sure we have a backup recording in case I F up our audio again.
Or something happens.
Or something happens, yes. But we are here, folks, once again this week, and since there isn't really much to talk about in the world of Gacha,
I guess not yet, yeah.
we can sort of dive elsewhere for today. And of course, answer a question from my friend Andrew, who, over at the Dialogue Box, has his own show. Watch that one. Listen to that one.
Yeah.
Rather. But he did ask us a question, and we will get to it. But first, I want to finish a conversation me and Ryan had off mic. We were almost done, but basically just to give a bit of a preview, because as you know, like I've said in the past episodes, we're not just interested in gacha stuff.
Yeah, we have a lot of other games that we play.
And yesterday, if not the day before, was the PlayStation Showcase.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the games that we were interested in, which are only like 4, in all honesty. Not because we don't think the other games are going to be good. We do. It's just that,
I won't say that we do think the other games are going to be good. I'm not going to say that yet.
Yeah, well, I don't want there to be like a
it's not that
something.
we don't like the games. It's just that like we can't give a good opinion on it because we're not familiar with that type of genre, or we're not familiar with that series, right?
Or, well, for this case, we only focused on Star Wars, the Insomniac games, and God of War. We finished our conversations about most of them. Star Wars wasn't that long. Basically, just don't screw it up.
It's one picture, yeah.
Don't screw it up. That's all.
That's all you need to
I don't
do.
remember that particular game being a...
like Knights of the Old Republic.
I thought it was an MMO. Or
it
am I
is.
mixing them up?
It is.
Wait, no. That's the Old Republic. Knights of the Old Republic's different. Sorry.
Yeah, but no, it's basically similar, where you just make a character and whatnot. Yeah.
Darth Revan?
I think there's some kind of customization going on, but I know it's not like your traditional Star Wars.
We'll see how
game.
that one goes. As for Spider-Man, we're excited.
Yeah, I want to see what they do with Venom.
Yeah, knowing Harry Osborn may or may not be in there.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, they have hinted at Eddie Brock in that universe, but nothing concrete. At most, a Daily Bugle newspaper article that was written by Eddie Brock.
Yeah. But everything else, it's not super.
So, like,
prevalent.
Your theory was that by the end or somewhere in the middle of the game, you'll get rid of Harry's symbiote. It'll latch onto Eddie.
Yeah, I think that like you find a way to probably save Harry from dying or something. He has like a sickness, whatnot.
Yeah, he was sick since the first game.
Yeah, so he doesn't need his Venom symbiote anymore, so he can.
Yeah, and then it ends up on Eddie.
Yeah, either that or they go the more interesting route and they make Venom an anti-hero instead.
Venom the lethal protector.
Yeah, instead of
which
being
makes sense because they hint as well at Kraven the Hunter.
Well, I don't think it's a hint. It's pretty much confirmed.
Yeah, but like he's hunting not just the 2 Spider-Men. He's hunting Venom too.
That one's interesting. I'm
not
sure what the dynamic there is.
To be fair, he's hunting a beast. What's more beastly than Venom among those 3?
That's very true.
He's more beast-like, animal-like than the other 2 are anyway.
That's very true.
He'd also probably be the hardest one to hunt.
Yeah, I guess.
Something to remember as well. I wonder how they'll incorporate it. Spider-Man can never sense Venom.
Oh yeah, because
the spider sense doesn't work on Venom, but that was
symbiote.
usually because of the familiarity the symbiote had with Peter when he wore the black suit in the comics.
But
I don't think he's wearing the black suit here.
This Peter doesn't have never gone.
Well, we don't know if
either
he ends up getting the black suit in this game.
Kind of doubt it, because like Miles is there also.
No, maybe as a result, Peter and Miles end up fighting.
I don't know. It seems like an odd dynamic.
Maybe Miles gets the Venom symbiote.
That would be even weirder if it was Miles.
True. Like, Insomniac's taken liberties though with the comics to great effect as well. Like
Bombastic
for example,
Bagman.
Oh yeah, and also like with how they set up Doc Ock, Mr. Lee, Mr. Negative.
Yeah.
Comic faithful and yet open to certain things. Like for example the Mary Jane of that game. She wasn't exactly a Lois Lane-esque reporter in the comic books. I don't remember if she ever was, but
But this
Turning
one's
Mary
more,
Jane into
yeah.
Lois Lane actually works.
Yeah, she goes into danger zones.
She's her
and
own
whatnot,
woman, you know.
yeah.
Like,
And she doesn't. They have levels. The Mary Jane. Levels.
yeah, the Mary Jane levels, they weren't as fun. They were for story purposes. But
I
apart
mean-
from that, you know, we're excited.
Yeah, definitely.
As for the Wolverine game, we're more curious than excited.
Yeah,
Curious to see how they pull it off because like Wolverine doesn't have gadgets.
Yeah, and it's done by Insomniac, right?
Yeah.
So
Same
I mean,
you'd think same universe.
yeah, it would make sense because we acknowledge that the Avengers exist in the Spider-Man universe.
True, but this is
so-
but Wolverine is also an X-Man.
yeah. But-
I don't recall mutants being a thing in Insomniac. I guess they are now.
Well, yeah.
The question is, well, do they make him more X-Men or more Avenger?
Probably
That's the
more
excuse,
X-Men.
more Avenger actually. That's a pretty good excuse.
Either way,
Because yeah, we've seen Avengers Tower, the Baxter Building, the Sanctum Sanctorum.
so I wouldn't be surprised if they
Yeah.
also had the X-Men mansion.
The Worcester Mansion, yeah.
Yeah, they had all those things. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well,
But, you know,
Wolverine is a more violent character, so that's interesting.
Yeah, they can't have that. Oh, Spider-Man doesn't kill, so you can always see them on the side of the building.
Oh,
Yeah.
Logan kills.
Logan kills people. Yeah, so
How are they gonna make it not violent?
they have to make it violent. They
Yeah,
have to
but-
make it like PG-13 or something. They
If not
can-
rated R even.
No, rated R. You're gonna see. That means nothing is censored, and it's very.
It's Wolverine.
Yeah, but then
Nothing
like,
will be censored.
but he's cartoon censor, so it's still like PG-13.
I suppose that
You're gonna see blood,
'Cause-
but it's not gonna be like looks
yeah,
lifelike.
I wonder what it's gonna be because like with Spider-Man in the combat, he punches and punches.
Yeah.
Logan has claws.
He's gonna slash.
so
and
he's gonna slash and slash, right? Then how would that work? It's interesting.
They're probably just gonna have him like fighting styles thing. Like he's gonna have the suits thing, different outfits
suppose
from the
so,
comics. I
yeah.
think that's a good.
I assumed instead of gadgets, he'll get powers per suit. Like Wolverine, he can sniff out his targets. He can like blend in. Like I said, Logan can be stealthy. He can. It's very difficult.
I don't think anyone
it's-
wants to be stealthy in a Wolverine game, though. I think you just wanna smack. People.
Oh yeah, like well, it can go both ways. Like we'll see how that turns out. It's very interesting. It's like, yeah, I can see it working. In a sense. You know, he's like an animal too. You know, he's got that sort of thing
Yeah.
going on. So it's possible. We'll have to wait and see. Lastly, of course, but certainly not the least, God of War, more of the same. If it wasn't broke, so they didn't have to fix anything.
It wasn't broke, so
Great
don't fix
game.
it. All they just need to do is just keep adding wonderful aesthetics, the nice
Yeah.
stories that Mimir tells,
Yes.
and then the characters.
Although-
I don't like the Thor thing.
Oh
that you
yeah,
told
the
me
Thor
about.
thing.
Thor is
Just
fat.
for context, folks, if you look for God of War Ragnarok's version of Thor, he looks like Volstagg more than he looks like Thor, and you know you can be open to the interpretation that he looks like that. Some people don't like it. Some people are okay with it.
I don't like it.
I don't know if it's because of Marvel that people think Thor should be buff and
I don't think it's
Handsome
just
and
because
stuff.
of Marvel, but like if you think about it, also the canonical
Norse
like
myth of Thor.
You know, I'm a big mythology nut.
Yeah.
So
Was it ever described that Thor was this like big?
yes, like you remember the statue of Thor in.
Oh yeah, he was buff. Maybe he let himself
He's
go.
supposed to look like that.
Maybe he let himself go.
What he let
During
himself go?
the- Oh, what's he gonna do on Asgard? He's just waiting there for a good fight. He's bored.
Yeah, but like still, the point is like I don't like how Thor looks. He should look manly, you know, like big buff,
He
strong
certainly
man
sounds
that's
very
scary.
menacing. Yeah. I like his voice though. He sounds very menacing.
He does sound menacing. The voice is fine. It's just the aesthetic. I don't like
the
fat
big
Thor.
fat Thor.
Like it's the same reason why I don't like fat Thor in Marvel. When
oh
he was
no, that
fat
Thor, that was annoying Thor. This one,
Yeah, I don't
This
like
is
fat
like-
Thor either.
this one, he's just big and fat. I guess maybe he's one of like those strong fat guys.
I mean,
you know, those-
he
you don't
probably
mess with that
will
guy.
be anyway, but like the point is he's fat. I don't like that he's fat.
The fat Thor. Well, we'll see how this turns out. Maybe he becomes buff again later on. Maybe like Kratos kicks his ass at first, then he trains, and then he comes back and he's buff again. then that's like the final fight or something.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. We might fight the All Father. I don't.
You
I
know,
wouldn't be
I'm
surprised
not so
if
sure
Kratos
about
killed
that.
Odin.
I'm not so sure about that. Like, Mimir hints at Odin throughout the entire game, first game in fact. But
But we never like see him.
we've
right?
never seen him. Yeah, like you've seen Freya, who is also going to try and kill you.
Yeah.
We've seen Thor now. And he looks like that. Tyr, he's huge.
Tyr is a big boy.
He's a big guy. For God of War, he doesn't look very battle-ridden like Kratos does, but maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing. That,
He's like Mimir's described him as like a god of war that tried to stop war.
I think that's better.
Yeah, we'll see what becomes of Kratos and the boy
The boy.
throughout the rest of their journey.
The boy.
The journey to discover who Loki is, because I'm really okay. Is Laufey a Marvel guy or is he a actual Norse?
I think that's a Marvel thing. The Laufey, like I know the Jotuns all
I know it's a
have their
different
own
guy.
hierarchy
Ymir?
and stuff. Ymir, yes.
Yeah, no, Ymir's like their god or
Yeah,
something, right?
but like I don't recall any Laufey. Like you guys can correct me if you want.
Laufey,
but then, like,
Laufey, I don't
Laufey,
know.
but then like I don't recall any specific.
Yeah, Loki isn't actually like a frost giant disguised as Asgard.
No, he's an actual Asgardian.
Right. Well,
It's
I mean,
weird.
the pieces are set for Ragnarok too. Baldur's dead. The World Serpent's there. Oh yeah, that's. Isn't Thor supposed to fight the World Serpent?
Yeah.
Ooh, how's that gonna go?
And
Is he gonna eat him?
Fenrir.
They're gonna
will
kill each
try to
other,
eat-
right? Isn't that the well, then again, the legend isn't.
Odin will like eat Fenrir or something like that. I don't know.
Who is
That's-
also Loki's son?
It's so weird, alright. Like
Norse myth is odd.
Norse myth is really cool, but it's also extremely weird.
Yeah, you've got those. What is it? Oh man, I hope they don't follow what Ragnarok did, where Loki's gonna end up getting trapped in like this strap thing. There's like birds that's gonna
and then
eat
they're
him.
gonna eat his eyeballs and stuff. I
They're
mean
gonna, they're
that's
gonna drop acid on his body and he's gonna heal.
I mean that's what happened to Prometheus in the Greek mythology. I mean that's basically what happened to him. They strapped him to a boulder and the birds kept eating
Although
him. So.
we've never seen Atreus transform.
Can he
Maybe?
transform?
Well, Loki is supposed to be
is
able
that a
to.
thing?
Isn't
He
he?
can.
No, I don't think he can. Like, Loki is supposed to be able to transform, if I recall. Not
Yeah,
not
but-
like Marvel Loki in the because
Yeah.
I know one of the legends was that he hid as a fish, but then he got caught and then that's when they punished him.
I mean,
Atreus isn't exactly a mischievous kind of guy though, so
no.
we'll see how they interpret.
He isn't the type. I think he seems a bit,
Yeah.
like.
We'll see. But I digress. I guess that about covers it. The rest of the stuff I wasn't too interested in. Then again, you and I haven't exactly been playing console games for a while.
Yeah, it's been a while since we touched
Yeah,
the console
like-
game.
So, I mean, the only other thing I can think of maybe is that Forspoken game that's using the Final Fantasy 15 engine.
Yeah,
I only say that because I recently replayed Final Fantasy 15.
yeah. Oh yeah. I saw you playing that the other day.
Yeah. With that, you know what? That about covers it, I think.
You think so?
Yeah, I can't really think of anything else. A friend, HMK, I saw his tweet. He's like, "The ball's in your court, Nintendo." What about so we're gonna forget
the
Xbox?
ball
I
is
guess
yeah. I mean,
we'll see.
rip Xbox.
But anyway, we can get on to the second and probably majority portion of this episode, which is the question of Andrew and sort of tangents leading back to the circular answer. So, with that, here's a quick sound effect, and we shall continue. Alright, we're back, folks, and to begin, so I'm going to read Andrew's question again. I think we mentioned what it was last week.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious how you're gonna reply because PGR was mentioned.
I'm from a neutral party right here.
Alright, I'll see if I can find it. It's gonna take a while. But, okay. Not sure if you guys have gone through this already, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on why some gachas fall flat within a year
Yeah.
like PGR, and some are still alive for almost a decade, like FGO. So, yeah, let's talk about that. Because you and I, we've played a lot of gacha games. Some of them stand the test of time. FGO,
Yeah. FGO, Arc Knights, technically.
sort of. Genshin Impact is newer.
Yes,
It will.
But
I think
I
it will
believe
stand the
it's
test of
still, it
time.
will stand the test of time.
Epic 7, for me, it's still good. I enjoy it. And yeah, it's interesting because like when he says games that are falling flat, like I played Marvel Future Revolution. I recently stopped. Not because I don't like the game. I actually really do like the game. It's just that I can't commit to another game that requires me to overnight farm. I can't do it. It'll impede the progress of my other games.
Yeah.
But yeah, some games they do fall flat. Of course, if you like the game, then for you it doesn't fall flat. But you gotta admit, for some they really do. Like, I don't know if PGR is a good example on Andrew's part, if or not.
Okay, I have to be honest, I guess. Lots of people, the PGR doesn't have a big following because their monetization is extremely bad.
Monetization.
Yes, well,
Oh, what do they do?
like for those who want to whale and stuff, or like if they want to buy skin, like PGRs. When it comes to PGRs, skins, because like most of these games have skins, right?
Oh yeah.
But when it comes to PGR skins, the problem is the free skins are occasional, and the really nice looking ones are all hid behind the paywall, and that paywall is ginormous.
So it's like Genshin.
It's bigger than Genshin.
Oh,
Like
really?
the gacha, it has pity and whatnot, but then like the amount of money you have to spend to get lots of pulls to get somewhere is a bit too much.
Oh.
It's really inflated,
Oh, that's
and
not
it's
good.
not very worth to get the monthly card either. You know how like Genshin has Welkin, right? That's
Yeah.
their monthly card. Oh, what?
No, I'm just moving a little closer just so it's easier for us to have the sound.
Yeah, we really need to use that mic, but
Yeah, we're just used to the iPad.
Well, like what I was
but
saying.
anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Like what I was saying, it's their monthly card isn't super worth either. It's like
How
I
much?
don't know, maybe a pull every few days.
Really?
I think it's not a lot. Like I can assure you that I play PGR because I like the gameplay, and I like
The
their
story?
story building in a way. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
bit like Arc Knights when it comes to story building, but like I play it more because I like to kill things with
Mhm.
hack and slash. But then
Yeah.
that's just me. But it quite makes sense. I guess you could say it is falls flat in a
Well,
way.
let's break it down. What exactly does falling flat mean for a game? I wonder, because like the closest thing I can think of. Actually, no, it's not very close. But my definition of falling flat would be like World of Warcraft right now. Not only did it fall flat, it dug a hole.
They
and now it's
dug a
into
hole.
the center of the earth, and it's burning.
Yeah, that one is like very sad.
Is
But,
Is that the definition we can use for falling flat, quote unquote?
I'd like to think it's
Or is
just
that
that
worse?
it's not popular anymore. It's like the following is really limited to those who are only
Well-
who play the game because they like it.
Yeah, but to be fair to them as well, like I don't think any games start out with huge followings unless they get enough hype prior to the release. Like Genshin did.
Yeah,
People were
Genshin had a
hyped
lot
for
of
that.
hype, yeah.
I think there was hype for this. Not that big,
Okay. There was some hype, but
wasn't that?
it's
Huge.
not
So it
as
wasn't Genshin
big.
level
Yeah,
of hype,
exactly. And
So I think it's fair to say that
They-
the going in, I didn't think PGR was going to have a big fan base going in. It was going to have
no,
a
it
committed
is a
fan base.
committed fan base, and even in the Chinese server, it's a committed fan base.
Yeah, but it's not big.
It's not a like completely large
Yeah,
fan base.
yeah,
It's no Arc Knights, it's no FGO,
Yeah.
but it's a committed fan base.
True, but isn't commitment what keeps the game alive?
Yeah, I mean, you could say it fell flat because it's not popular. Like people who play other gacha games would not look and find that and try to play it because they heard about it. It's more of that it just happens to be there, and rather than people want to look for it and play it. It's
Mhm.
just kind of just there now, unfortunately.
Okay. So for you, falling flat is in terms of popularity.
I guess, cause like I'm
For me, cause my definition is more because of how the game is at its current state. It's not that fun. It's boring. It's repetitive.
oh no, I mean I wouldn't
Things like that. No, in the sense of there's not much content or it's not enticing for people to play. Like, or people tend to quit because of certain things. That's for me. That's the definition of falling. Like again, we can bring up WoW. You know, they did way too much to try and fix it. It just made it worse.
Yes, they
It,
tried
it
to
drove
patch.
them away in an effort to rake in more money.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what these gacha games are doing, I think. But, well, hopefully not, anyway. But, like, you know, doing things that the fans don't appreciate, which cause the fans to quit. That's my definition of falling out. I don't know if that's the same as what you were saying.
Yeah, but like, I don't think PGR has done such a thing.
Oh,
yet.
yeah,
like
but yeah, I've
their
never heard a
main
bad thing
the
about it.
main thing that has hurt them is their monetization. Really, like
Uh-huh.
they like to give us free stuff.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah, they like to give us free stuff. But then, your main issue with all of this is that everything that is not free is extremely expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Like the cost for trying to go pay to win in this game is too much, I would think.
Really?
Yeah, there are skins
Like using
that
one
I
of
would.
our other games as an example to compare, like, I don't know, Genshin, if you're a whale in Genshin versus a whale in PGR, which game are you spending more on?
PGR.
Really?
Yes.
By how much?
I mean, I think there's a good margin that you're spending more in PGR because like
Than in
PGR more often gives skins.
Well, like,
they
Arknights give skins. A
Yes,
lot.
but the thing with Arknights is that they're always there
are no paid.
time and time again. I will say Arknights is F2P done right.
Yeah.
Anyone who doesn't want to spend money doesn't have to, and they can get all the same amount of content that other people have.
Yeah, it's a good thing you mentioned Arknights as well. That I just remember the question I had that I thought about. Is Arknights being F2P a bad thing?
No,
Because like for a certain character, like for me, as I continue to play the game, and you know, I've had my complaints about the story being very long, the cutscenes are very long, which
yeah,
gets me bored. But the thing is, like with Arknights, if I don't know if maybe that's not a good thing or if it is, having the game require more brain than character. Okay, here's an example. Currently, Phantom is on rate up right now.
yes,
He's the sort of specialist that's like Project Red,
or Gravel. Sorry,
right? Now, naturally, you should in a gacha game you should want the SSRs, the 6 stars, the.
Yes,
But if I can survive a game with Project Red, who I've raised and done very well, why would I roll for Phantom?
well, exactly.
Yeah, like,
Well-
is that a bad thing?
No,
Like, because like, why if for people because Project Red is not very rare. I think many
no, a
players
lot
have
of people
her.
have Project Red. Yeah,
The question would be like if they
and-
have her,
and
what would be the
yeah.
point of rolling for?
Because
Phantom?
like the main thing that Arknights does is that they release new characters, but they always make sure that each character has their own gimmick,
their own thing, yeah.
their own thing that makes them. Sure, you have someone else who can do what I do, but only I can do this. Like
Yeah.
Phantom is the only character who you basically get 2 characters for one when you're in a map
Yeah,
because you can summon his ghost, and it's basically
Yeah.
a second Phantom.
I see. I guess this is also like how we've had previous Arknights conversations before. Like, for people who have Silver Ash, why should they roll for what's his name?
Thorns.
Yeah, like why should they roll for Thorns? if have
Because
Silver
they
Ash? Like
do
that.
2 different things. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like that's the great thing about Arknights and why I will continue to play this game, because every character has their own thing,
Yeah.
and no matter what rarity they are, sometimes others can't be replaced. Like
Yeah.
Myrtle can't be replaced.
I think in the same. Well, yeah. Even if they have I
Elysium-
don't know. Elysium kind of does her
Elysium,
job.
it works.
Oh
but
yeah, it
then
works quite well. very well.
Elysium is more expensive than Myrtle.
By like 2
No.
EP.
Like if you pot 6 both of them, both of them, like, it's still more efficient to put down Myrtle
Oh yeah, she's faster.
because she can get the DP
Yeah.
skill out faster.
And then what about this new 6-star?
Well, I have
Flag
no
player.
idea what you call it.
I don't remember her name, but
Say Leech.
something like that.
Say Leech, that's what her name is. But I'm not entirely sure what she does yet, so I can't comment about that. But the thing is that each character they release always has something unique. They established that after the first few operators, then they started releasing more unique ones. Like, Skadi
Oh, yeah.
is okay.
Now.
She got power crept a lot.
Oh yeah, by
But the nice thing they did-
Chen, all them.
Helliger does one thing and he does it well.
Yeah.
Jen does another thing and she does it well. They
Yeah.
all do different things. That's the
Yeah.
And there's no. If you want to get a character, go ahead. If you need someone who can do this, then it's that character you should get. But if you don't need him or her to do that, then you're pretty much fine.
I suppose, though it just seems that after a while as well it gets kind of difficult. But anyway, going back to the idea of falling flat, I wonder, like, because now that I think about it, falling flat is a very vague term. Not in
Mhm.
the, well, I mean, we understand what it means, but like, when you say a game falls flat, it's, I don't want to say who's to blame. That doesn't seem to be the right term. What is the
Reason?
catalyst, I guess? Like,
What makes a game fall flat?
yeah, because you and I stopped playing PGR. I get why you like it, but I don't.
Yeah, it's not for everyone.
But I don't think it's too. Isn't it too soon to say it fell flat?
Okay. The thing is, I guess you could compare it to its reception in the CN server and
Yeah,
like
but-
the JP server also, but
So you have to base falling
Because
flat on
it's-
another server. What they're
no,
is it because they're ahead?
because
Yeah,
they're
okay.
ahead, right? And they've
Yeah.
been around. PGR has been around for a year in the other server, so and their fan base has not really grown.
Oh.
You could say I wouldn't say it fell flat. It's more of they're going to keep to their dedicated fan base and they're going to keep it that way.
Yeah, but as another example, look at Honkai. That's been around a long time.
Mm-hmm.
The fan base there is not as big. It's getting bigger now.
He's getting bigger
Because of
now
Genshin.
because of Genshin, but
That game never fell flat, did it? Or has it been flat this whole time?
I don't think they've ever been that uber fantastic.
Yeah, but I
No.
think Honkai fans.
Honkai
Love
fans they love the game.
Yeah.
And
So-
I have no objection if you do.
But how does a game like that, which didn't have a big fan base anyway, survive, and yet this PGR kinda is, kinda isn't?
I mean, I wouldn't say PGR is dead or anything.
It's not. No. And maybe dead's not the right word, but like falling flat with that. It is an interesting topic. It's kind of strange to think about as well, because like for me, falling flat, I think I have to reiterate. Falling flat, it's the game is stale, not much exciting things going on.
Okay, that's what I would say is not true.
But isn't that up
because if
to-
we're following that definition of PGR is not falling flat.
Yes, but
Because if we're talking about content and
well,
gameplay wise, definitely
yeah.
not.
So, but okay. So do you agree with Andrew's statement? For example, PGR as a game that fell flat.
In terms of popularity, yes.
Okay, but as
In
the,
terms of
the game
gameplay,
itself, no. So do we look at falling flat as a popularity? I think we should actually.
I think it
That's
would
what-
make
I think
more
that's what he meant,
sense.
yeah.
I think that's what he meant when it comes to
Yeah.
like falling flat.
So-
Because like each game already has its own like gameplay to keep it
But,
unique,
well,
to keep whatever.
So, okay, now that that's clear, the logic I'm trying to look at is, for a game to fall, it must first rise.
No,
like
it
the-
could just be
it's
going
like-
straight and fall.
No, but like to have fallen flat would have meant that it used to be up. Like it used to have, I don't know, traction.
No, I think it's because every game starts with traction anyway.
Well,
Like
these days, yeah.
every gacha game that they released, aside from the ones that are precognition to be bad,
Yeah.
usually they have already some kind of traction, some kind of small following already.
Yeah.
And I guess you could say that they're high. And then when they fall flat, it means that their popularity stagnated
True.
really fast.
Yeah, with some gachas, they do last a very long time as well, even if they're not exactly popular. Like, I think you remember Brave Frontier, that game I used to play.
Yeah. Well,
it's still alive.
It's still alive because
And
it
it's
has
one
a
of the-
dedicated
Yeah,
fan
so
base.
is Summoner's War.
That one is a very old one, yeah.
They're still alive, and I think there are new versions of those games. Like Brave Frontier has a sequel. I think Brave Frontier 2.
Yeah.
Summoner's War have.
Yeah, they have a sequel also, I
Yeah.
think.
Those are alive. They're like the granddaddies of gacha games. Those two.
I don't know when the release dates are, so I'm not gonna say anything, but
Basta really early on, those were the gacha games back then.
yeah, I
I
guess
think
so.
they predate FGO, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure. I won't say anything. That's why I'm not sure, so I don't want to say anything about,
Yeah, but like, those are games that throughout the years have been alive. They survive now. As a fan of a game, I guess you'd never consider it falling flat unless it's really boring then.
Yeah.
But popularity wise, how does it go? Like, let's look at the other side. Games like FGO, which last almost a decade. I don't know if that's accurate. If it's lasted almost a decade, it's been a long time. But
No,
when did FGO
we're
start?
not.
2017.
We're
right?
not a complete decade yet.
No, we're
we
nowhere
haven't-
close. I think. I
we
think the
are-
game start. Okay, when did it?
I
come
mean,
out in
we've
Japan?
hit 6th anniversary, so we have 4
We're
years
close.
from a decade of FGO.
Oh no, then he's right. Almost a decade.
Almost a decade of FGO, which is fantastic. I'm
Yes.
so happy.
How did that game survive?
I
Is there
think the
example?
main reason why FGO lives is because not just because of their fantastic story
Yeah.
and their very good promotional
Well,
material.
Is it because it's Fate?
That part of it is also because it's Fate. But then, if you think about it, Fate was never known until FGO came out. Right?
Exactly. That game saved the franchise.
It saved the franchise.
Along with
it
I
made
think along with the anime.
Nasu's biggest franchise became Fate because of FGO. I think.
Not the anime?
Not
BBW, Fate
not
Zero.
necessarily, because like it's
Or
still the
maybe those
animes
more
are
anime
still
fans.
towards anime fans specifically. But when people started playing FGO,
They
that's
watched
when
the anime.
people started like watching the anime, watching the shows, watching
Trying
the
to find
cartoons,
the
like that.
VNs, things like
The
that.
VNs, even looking into Nasu's other works like Tsukihime or Melty Blood, or Notes even, like
Yeah.
that magnificent giant world.
I guess
But then-
with FGO that had a franchise behind it. I guess to fall back on. Although
And-
this is the moneymaker.
I think the
This
main
game is the moneymaker.
Yeah, the main reason why FGO is so successful is because their content is always like great. Like I don't know anyone who has any time they've had like bad content.
There have been bad story
Like,
parts.
stor-
Agartha.
Yeah, but those were more
That was-
underwhelming than bad because we're comparing it to the other stuff Nasu's done. But
So then it's-
in
so
terms
then
of
it-
storytelling, it was pretty decent,
Or like
right?
for example, the first Roman Singularity.
That one, I mean,
Septem. That was pretty.
it was kind of boring, right?
Yes.
But then I think the point of that one was more of like referencing Oniro is here.
Yeah, isn't
For those,
'cause
Fate Extra
Nasu's a
fans.
great writer and all, but he hasn't exactly hit every time.
Yes, but aside from story, like they have these servants, right?
Yeah.
And they always
And,
have
well, there's another example. There are some bad servants.
yes,
In
but
your
design
definition,
wise,
like, there are some bad servant.
like
design.
gameplay wise,
Gameplay.
yes, there are bad servants. Design wise, yes, there are bad servants.
Yeah.
But usually,
I guess they improve them as well. They buff them. They give them rank ups. Things
yeah,
Like
but usually when they don't have something, they have the other thing. For example, like if you look at Astrea, she's like the ugliest thing ever in terms of art. No hate towards
There
the artist, but I
are-
really don't like
there
her art.
are worse.
There are worse, yes. Like I really didn't like Oberon's art.
You still don't, right?
I still don't really like it. But,
But you
then
like him because
I like
of the story.
I like how they built him in the story.
Oh yeah.
Which is and in gameplay wise he's also very good.
Yeah.
It's just that his art is not good.
Yeah.
But like that's the thing with FGO. Usually when they don't hit something, the other thing is good.
What do you
so-
mean by the other? Like, what was the other thing for
Like-
Astrea? You said Astrea.
Astrea,
Lufia.
she's a 4-star ruler.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's a single target damn.
Like she's a 4-star ruler and she has pretty good skills.
Damage.
She has pretty good skilled, she's pretty decent, and she's very usable as a servant. She's not like impossible to use.
Yeah, although she is a ruler, she wouldn't be like your first pick.
Exactly,
in
but
anything.
still, I mean, she has that benefit of being, I'm an extra class, you can get me anytime, and I'm very usable if you need a ruler. Right?
True, although if you need a ruler, doesn't exactly warrant.
Moon Cancer, if ever you
Yeah.
find one. Like,
If ever.
but still, the point is that FGO likes to keep their content fresh all the time. They like to always... it's like they always do their best when it comes to designing characters or creating hype.
Yeah.
They're very good with their marketing, like fantastic. Because they always
Yes.
have shows, they have anime, they
Yeah.
have posters, they have artists, they have a
Theater
joke
plays.
manga. They have learning with manga.
Yeah, the theater plays.
They have theater, yes. They have a lot of good stuff. That's why FGO is still alive and still pretty big when it comes to like our fan base, or pretty large.
Can you also look at falling flat as falling flat individually? Like for you, a game is good. For me, a game falls flat. Is that that something to consider?
I think that's more of an opinion thing,
yeah.
right? Like, I think you can only consider, if you're looking at it that way, it's really more of a, I think this and you think that, so we can't really define if it's falling flat. It's
Yeah.
best to define it based on like popularity, how
Yeah.
many, if you stay
It's-
or you leave.
It's interesting because like I said a while ago, I stopped playing MFR, Future Revolution. I recently saw a YouTube video asking, is Marvel Future Revolution dying? Now, it just came out.
It just
So-
came out. I wouldn't say it's...
To say
You
it's
can only
dying,
say
it's-
something is dying if like lots of people leave it at large quantities. I mean, it has happened before where a gacha
look
game
at-
gets released
Yeah,
and like
not even gacha game. Look at WoW. It's if not dead already, it's dying right now.
No, it's pretty much dead now.
Yeah.
Like the only thing that they have is people who just want to finish the story.
Yeah.
Like everyone else is moving to like Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
And-
Exactly. So like,
Knowledgeably so, that's a great game.
yeah, Eozera versus Azeroth. I think people will take Eozera
Yes.
now anyway. But which reminds me as well, that's not really a... I don't know how to receive that whole everyone's jumping to Final Fantasy. I think that's more of a... That actually sounds bad to me.
What do you mean?
Like, I'm gonna play Final Fantasy because I want to play an MMO that isn't WoW.
Okay, I'd like to think that it's more of not because it's not WoW anymore,
'Cause
but
like-
because it has that high reputation
Yeah. 'Cause
also in its community, and because of WoW's drop, this is basically the next best thing, the next big one.
That's exactly what I mean. It's the
Like,
next best thing.
Like it was like, because if you think about it, it isn't as big a community as WoW.
it is
Obviously.
now.
Now it is because people have left WoW,
Yes.
right? And they still want that kind of gameplay. It's just that these people, it's not that the FF14 is worse than WoW.
No, not at all.
It's
very
just
good.
that people back in the day preferred to play WoW over FF14 because
Yeah.
maybe they liked the world of WoW better,
It's more established as well.
or like, you know, maybe they liked how they constructed their story and whatnot. Maybe they liked it more than, you know, some aspects of WoW were better than 14 back then. But
Yeah.
now that WoW is like
dying.
poop in the toilet,
Yeah.
like 14 is basically their saving grace. That
Yeah.
if we lost what we loved about WoW, we
Yeah.
can find what we same love in 14 now.
Yeah.
So yes,
'Cause that seems to happen a lot as well with not just other games. Like even like right now with wrestling, that's happening. People jump ship from WWE to AEW, and they're falling flat. That's at the bottom line. They are falling flat. Like at this point, WoW is like not just fell flat. It's journeying to the center of the earth right now.
yeah.
So with gacha games, I guess popularity really at the end of the day is the main thing. Popularity, well, okay, WoW fell flat for a different reason though.
They did.
It's still the most popular MOBA. This is the most popular MMORPG today. I think it always will be.
Yeah, it will be the most known. it will forever be
Yeah.
the most known. It's just that
Its popularity from famous, it's becoming infamous.
yeah,
But it's still
which
popular.
is not very nice.
I guess like with Blizzard Activision getting involved this is how it kind of ties into what I was trying to say a while ago with is it also because of how the devs handle the game? Because
course.
Blizzard Activision have screwed up.
No,
Wow.
ever since Activision bought Blizzard, I believe that Blizzard was on its way to destruction. Ever since Activision
Yeah.
bought Blizzard.
Now, like we have so far, MiHoYo hasn't been doing anything like this. The Lightworks hasn't been doing anything like this.
Yeah.
Nothing this egregious at all.
Of course, yeah, because they know how to handle their game properly.
Exactly. So, in terms of, is that falling flat? What WoW is doing? Is that something else
I
entirely?
would think that is falling flat. That's they held up a standard, like a standard for what
Yeah.
their game should be.
I think
But
for
after-
all MMOs in general, even.
Yeah, there's a standard. There's a standard of how your game should be and how you can build off it, or how you can make money from it.
Yeah.
But you can't just be like.
Excuse us, folks. We're back, folks. Quick apologies, but we had to order food.
Yeah, cause
We ordered snacks.
Mhm.
So we're gonna eat after this. It's a weekend after all.
Mhm.
A weekend with a typhoon coming.
Yeah, so we're recording this on Saturday before the rain starts to hit us.
If it doesn't hit us already.
I-
But anyway, going back, with falling flat. Okay. Games like we said with Genshin, it's going to survive. I think we're almost certain it will.
yeah.
With MiHoYo's doing very well.
And they're, speaking about Genshin, they're not. It seems that they're giving me more hope that they're not gonna disappoint us with this anniversary. 'Cause
Exactly, yeah.
they have more events in store apparently that, that might make me retract my rant from the last episode.
No, I think it still was warranted at the time.
At the time it was, but now
To
that
be fair,
they're
you weren't the only one who thought that.
yes, a lot of people thought that, but now that they're announcing that in a few days we're gonna show you guys all these cool rewards and events to celebrate our anniversary, so I think it's great that they're actually doing something like that. So.
Yeah. So, I guess it's more than two really, but our main thing so far is the popularity of the games as well as how the devs handle it. Because the game can be popular, but if the devs screw up, the whole thing is
The whole thing drops. Yes.
dead on its ass.
Mm-hmm. That's what happened with WoW.
Here's my question as well in terms of something that I think, as not just a gamer but as a wrestling fan, might contribute. Is it the fault of the fans? Because people who want this is a problem I see with media a lot, not even just wrestling and video games, movies, TV shows. Sometimes the fans expect too much. Is that the reason sometimes? Because I was not given this thing, therefore they have disappointed us. I remember back in this may be a joke, but I do think some people took it seriously. I don't know why. Remember when Endgame came out?
Yeah.
It's people were like, Thanos was right there. Ant-Man was there. Where was my Ant-Man jumping into Thanos' ass?
And
Scene.
growing.
Or why is Thor fat? Why isn't Hulk fighting Thanos round 2? It's not.
They never promised.
They
that.
never promised that, right? And
And they're not obliged to give that either.
yeah, it comes in two halves. They are obliged to give content that satisfies.
Yes.
But you didn't need these specific things to satisfy.
exactly.
Endgame is still a good movie. It's a great movie.
There's a big difference, I like to think, between smart fans and stupid fans. Okay.
Well,
There's a big difference. Smart fans will look to see where they could have improved, or and still appreciate what they did with the movie so far. Like if we're talking about movies, like they'd enjoy how the timeline building was going on and how they set up for future, series that they're planning to do, for Endgame's case, and
Yeah.
and they could have like commented, oh, maybe I didn't like appreciate Fat Thor too much, but at least it was a good representation of what he turned into, right?
Yeah, that's more character.
They think
based.
about it, right? These stupid fans are just thinking so generally. They just look at it. They're not thinking about the lore or thinking about what the story was about. They're just saying that because they don't feel happy immediately.
Yes.
They're not thinking.
And I going to that, considering as well, most media, majority of these fans are the stupid fans. We're not calling you guys stupid or anything, but
There are a lot of people
you gotta realize that they are catering to billions of people around the world, and unless every single player, every single fan wants this thing, there's no guarantee they'll do it. Right?
Yeah.
Like, let's make it a more closer to home example. Remember when Zhongli first came out?
Yes.
Oh, why isn't he a DPS? Who said he was gonna be a DPS?
Okay.
Or
Okay.
Ball now, Raiden Shogun. Raiden Shogun is not a. I expected like Ganyu numbers or like.
Okay, but there's a
things like that.
very big difference in those two situations.
Yes, but what I'm going for is because they were not what people wanted, there was rage, and for me that's unwarranted rage.
Okay, I wouldn't say it's unwarranted because for first case, Zhongli, I believe that is kind of warranted because
That people were mad
they
at them?
never Mihoyo never said distinctly that he would be a support. Nor
Do they
and
need
they end
to say these things?
it's better they do, at least. Like, it's better that they do because in his trailer they kind of set him to be able to freeze everything
Well, he
with
can.
petrify and then kill things just by doing the wave thing, right?
He can.
Yes, but he's not the one doing the damage. The only time that ever happens is if someone else does the damage and then he just finishes him off.
Or if
Exactly.
you actually built him
You
to
see.
do that? I
No,
guess.
no, you can't build him to do that. That's
Really?
the thing.
You can't
Like,
build him to do
you
damage?
can't. He won't be a consistent GODPS.
Okay.
And making him physical damage is
It's not a
terrible.
good idea.
Like, people were disappointed because Mihoyo's trailer kind of told them that
He would be
he
a
can
DPS.
do much of these things. He can do a lot. He can smack people and they're gonna like die immediately. He can freeze lava trails and they're gonna turn into dust.
Yeah, but those are trailers. They make all the characters in all
Exactly,
the trailers
but-
do damage.
But that's the thing.
Even Albedo did damage in his trailer. He wasn't a DPS. We knew off
Yes.
the bat he wasn't a DPS.
Yes, but the thing they did after Dong, they kind of learned after it. They made it a point to
it
specify. To specify what they can do and if they can do something. Like, for example, if you notice in Kazuha's story trailer,
Yeah,
or like the gameplay trailer,
yeah.
he doesn't really kill anything particularly.
Yeah.
Maybe he kills a Hilichurl or two, but he doesn't kill the big guys.
Yeah.
They made it clear that
He's
he
not the
can't
biggest.
less necessarily kill the big guys.
I mean,
he's
this-
more of a support.
Yeah.
So
This
it
also
became
makes sense
clearer,
why
right?
like in the narration of Albedo's is like, he's more suited to the background, supporting his allies. They straight up said it for
They straight
Albedo.
up said it, yeah. But then like you have the stuff with Zhongli and they kind of didn't say what he's suited for and people got mad that they didn't do what you're not you're false advertising and whatnot.
Well, can't it be considered that he's a fluid character? That he's a character that can do damage? He can't do
No,
as
because
much damage.
Because we in the community draw the line that they are either damage, support, or
Right.
hybrid. Zhongli is support. Okay? He is support.
Isn't he a little closer?
No.
Like I know there are certainly like straight up these
Like,
people
I-
of support, Xingqiu, Bennett,
Bennett. Yeah.
etc. etc.
Like, I have Dong. And you can build anyone in the game and like if
Like-
you get those artifacts, you can make them
yeah.
do a billion. It
Because
doesn't-
like even now, I consider also, unless you don't have him, you have to put him on your team.
Yeah. There's no reason. He's a support.
Yeah, unless you
He's a
don't,
support.
you actually don't have him.
He's
That's
a
the
support.
only reason.
Yeah, he is a support. But MiHoYo didn't say it at the time, so people got mad, right?
And you say they learned, but let's look at Raiden Shogun as well. You know,
Okay,
oh,
the
Raiden
only
Shogun,
the only reason why people got mad about that is because they removed an interaction that they think should have worked,
which is
Raiden's Raiden. When you know how Raiden, when she activates her ult, her weapon becomes her sword, and then
Yeah.
she's basic attacking.
yeah.
If you activate ult while Beido's ult is active, when you attack things, it will not trigger the electro thing from Beido's ult, even though those are technically basic attacks.
Because Beido's ult is also a constant electro.
No,
with dragons,
but
isn't it?
you get the do you get the point that
Oh yeah, I do. You know, with,
that
you
every
know,
basic attack when Beido's
triggers
ult will
triggers
get an electro chain of damage,
of the
right?
dragon, right? Yeah.
It doesn't trigger the chain if you use it during Raiden's ult.
Of course.
Why?
Isn't that logical? Because
Why?
she's already
Isn't it-
applying electro
No.
with her attack.
You seem to not get it. Like that this interaction's not working. That basic attacks, quotation marks, basic attacks should trigger Beido's ult, right?
So you're saying this would have worked in the game? It should have.
In the beta, it did work.
Was
in the
it?
beta, you could use
Is it
Raiden's ult,
perhaps-
and when you attacking, the extra electro chain that comes out of Beido's ult would still activate when you hit things.
Is that not something that could, I don't know, be a problem for the players?
I
could
don't
break
think
the
so. It
game,
wouldn't even-
could make things too easy, things like that.
The thing is, I don't think.
It wasn't a
Why
problem.
would it be a problem?
I don't know. They thought
I
it was a
don't-
problem. That's why they got rid of it, isn't it?
MiHoYo is notorious for doing that. They remove things that we want to keep, and they
Add things you never wanted.
no, like, what was the way they, okay, they remove things we want to keep, and they keep things we want removed.
Yeah. So
Like,
I guess the best example is like Bennett's C6.
Yeah,
No-
but
nobody wants
nobody wants to keep Ben at C6. That's why people are like, can we turn off constellations?
Or
But
change
then,
it.
I don't know.
Change it.
They're
to
not gonna
something
change
else,
it. No way they change it. But
They change.
the point is that it's all about communication, and sometimes fans are a bit too dumb, you could say, when it comes to like comprehending things.
I suppose, yeah, but so I guess there is still that aspect. So I guess with the certain fans, there's unwarranted hate, warranted hate in other cases. What would be a better example of like unwarranted hate for a game?
Unwarranted hate. I mean,
I don't think we can talk about the voice actors in that. That's a different issue.
that's
entirely.
a different issue, and that's because the fans are stupid.
Yeah, that's
Like-
a different issue.
Like, if you
Maybe FGO.
like,
Oh no, but okay. This is more of a you than a everybody. I don't know if other people shared your sentiments on the matter.
which one?
The fact that Oberon was Vortigern. When I first told you that,
I mean,
I
some
remember
people-
you lost hope in
Yeah, I'm
the
just-
light works.
Yeah,
for
but
a
some
while.
people shared
got
some
ov-
of my
yeah.
sentiments.
But here's the thing: you
Like,
got over it.
Okay, I got over it because after looking into the lore, I figured out he wasn't
Yeah.
pan-human history Oberon.
And
So
after what
the
he did
normal-
to the fairies, that
and
was-
after what he did to the fairies is yeah, okay.
But
He's a cool character.
I've seen in other media, they didn't like it. They quit, right then and there.
What do you mean?
Without like, I know that there are people who, if they were in your shoes, they would have quit FGO entirely, just because that was Vortigern.
Well, okay. All I have
I
to
don't know
say,
if there were people like, because Vortigern, that Oberon character seems to be very popular.
Oberon is very popular.
I know, but like he went through the whole, that's Vortigern? What? The whole, that's not a, he kind of went through a bad phase at the start, and then he became popular and good.
Yeah, but like all I have to say is that if you quit the game
Because of
because
that.
they released one character, you shouldn't have been playing in the first place.
Yeah, but not just in terms of like one character, maybe
Like seriously.
certain features, certain
Like-
things that happen that cause people to just hate the game because of that one thing and quit.
Like, all I have to say is, if you knew that thing was possible and you can't handle it, why were you playing the game in the first place?
Yeah.
Like, if you quit FGO because you didn't get what you wanted in the gacha, why are you playing FGO in the first place?
Yeah, what did you
If you can't handle not getting what you want for once, and you don't have money to whale, or you just don't want to, why are you playing it in the first place?
There's no point.
Go play a different game that suits your needs more. That if you want to you get a pity, or you have easier rates, go play those games. Why are you playing it in the first place if you can't handle it?
Yeah. So going back to my point with the fans, majority of fans have very short sort of tolerance with their expectations for me. Like, sometimes they don't they decide not to wait to see things through. And I feel like since a majority of them are like this, majority of them leave. When they leave, the game dies, or it begins to die.
I like to think,
And then the truly loyal fans, or the smart fans, stick around, and turns out it was actually better than what the fans thought at the time, assuming it wasn't warranted. You know,
Well,
sometimes like they change characters, they change what they do. Look at Zhongli now; he still can't do damage that much.
he still can't. I mean,
But
he does a
they
significant.
fixed him, didn't
He does a significantly more amount of
Yeah.
damage now.
they fixed him?
They
And
fixed
now,
him.
like,
They adjusted
I'm
him.
not
They
saying
made
that-
him better.
exactly. So like, fortunately, people didn't quit Genshin because Zhongli is this cool character, but then he didn't do that much damage. If you were patient, that buff took what?
A month and a half.
Yeah,
come out.
and then he got a rerun. Because of
you
it.
gotta rerun like a update or two after.
Exactly, right? He was one of the first characters to ever get rerun.
Child and him. Yeah.
Yeah. Not even Venti got his first rerun.
Yeah, it was Child first.
Child
who got his
first.
first rerun.
Yes. But how do you... Okay, so to sort of wrap things around, one, how do you define falling flat? How does a game survive? And which factor is the most important to ensuring a game like FGO survives almost a decade versus falling flat? Is it the popularity? Is it how the devs handle it? Is it the player?
I think.
This is the very reason why these games have surveys.
Yeah.
They
to improve.
need
They want
the
to do
feedback.
better. Right?
You want them to do well with the feedback. Give them feedback. Real feedback, not
real feedback.
not
Don't just
you
hate
guys suck.
everything.
Like,
Yeah.
real feedback.
Just give them constructive feedback. Genshin has listened to a lot of feedback, and they
Yeah.
have done well to pick up on it.
yeah. But
And they have adjusted stuff.
yes. So, yeah, which of the three would you say is the most important thing to ensure the survival of a game?
I honestly, if you ask me, I can't say any of them are the most important.
Also, is it like the
all I can
triforce of surviving a game?
Yes, you can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
The only thing I have to say is that if you fail in one aspect, you must be extreme. You have to make sure you're extremely good in the other.
Yeah.
Like if your designs for characters aren't too fantastic,
well,
then your story has to be great.
yeah, well, yeah, like with that example, designs are up to taste.
Yes, but you need to. They
A
are
good
up
story,
to taste.
like FGO, Genshin, they have great stories.
They have great stories.
Stories that people follow and have so much respect for to the point that they don't leak it. That the leakers don't leak the story
Yes, and
because it's not worth it.
It's not worth.
Not in the you don't ruin it.
Yeah, people like the story.
People
in
like the
all
story,
its
they wanna
aspects.
see it
They want to read.
Yeah.
People usually
That's
spend
a rare
time
thing,
reading.
honestly. Like, people would be mad if a leaker spoiled the story.
I mean, there has been leaks and whatnot
Well,
of
not everyone. Like, some people,
identities
yeah,
and the
like,
right.
some people want these leaks.
Some people want them, and the only time you can consider that bad, I think, would be like if you spoil people even though they don't
Entirely?
want it. That's
yeah.
when it's bad.
Yeah.
But,
But yeah, so if we're looking at our factors, A, popularity of the game itself, whether that like you have, I guess that's because of the fans as well.
It's how they market it, really.
The marketing.
It's how well you
'Cause
market the
You can
game.
market the game as much as you like, but if the game sucks, it's not gonna work. So I guess that's the other thing.
Gameplay
That's where the
is-
devs come in,
The
right?
dev correction and dev adjustments.
Things like that. So
That's the other thing.
with the last one is for me, I guess it's fan reception. No, that's popularity. Fan interaction, maybe.
Interaction with the
'Cause
fans. It
The worry I have is with the third factor, the dumb fans, which are a majority of the fans of these
yes,
games.
but like it's
How do you prevent them from? Because it's hard to run a business where the customer is always right. Because sometimes they really aren't.
yeah. Sometimes they're just no, you're not right.
That's the problem. That's I guess the bane of many businessmen. You can't say no to the customer. You never can. Unless it's egregious and unethical. Unless it's really bad, you can't say no to the customer.
Yeah, but
Right? But
yeah.
if the
yeah.
customers want okay, oftentimes people being disappointed, I find, is because of themselves, not because of the game.
Yeah.
Like, you're expecting a god character to be the best DPS in the game, turns out they're not,
So
causing you to not like it anymore. I don't know if that's you or if that's the devs.
That's you.
Right?
If you
Desho, as the Japanese say.
yeah,
Like,
if you can't handle it.
So-
Like I said, if you can't handle it, why are you playing?
I know, but okay. Let's look at, okay, let's go back. Genshin's really the perfect thing for this particular point in the conversation. Like, having a character, Raiden Shogun, Zhongli, or whoever they release in the future, having a character disappoint,
Mm-hmm.
is it disappointing because of you or because of the devs?
Okay, it depends.
Like, with those cases, as you said, it was the devs. They didn't, with Zhongli.
I like to think that it depends, alright? Like, some part of it is the fans, some part of it's the devs. Like, you can't... I like to think that every gacha game can't have everyone is OP.
Oh yeah, there's no
right?
point in
There's
playing the game if
always...
you-
They always release... Like, in every gacha game I've ever seen, every gacha game I've ever played,
There are characters that suck.
they're all... No, not suck. Not necessarily suck.
Like,
Just
there
like,
are
there are
better-
characters
that are
that
better
are
than
just...
others, yeah.
When they release them, they're meh. They're okay.
Oh yeah.
They're not...
Look at Genshin.
They're not fantastic. They're not game-breaking.
Yeah.
But they're there.
They're there. They exist.
You can play them if you want. You know,
you like them, you
the
like
point is to have characters and enjoy
Yeah.
different styles of playing. That's not... If you don't like the character and they don't do what you want them to do, even though they were kind of meant to do that, then that's your fault already.
That's not the devs.
Like, if it's only the dev's fault if ever, like, something...
Let's use Zhongli again. So
Like, it's
he
only
was set
it's
up
only
to be
ever
this-
the dev's fault
Yeah.
if they set it up, they market it, they talk to the fans in the wrong way about it.
yeah.
Like-
Well, they never 100% said this guy is going to be a DPS. It's
And
heavily
neither
implied.
did they. It's heavily implied that he would be a DPS, and they did not confirm that he was a support.
Yeah, but well,
They said nothing.
I mean, this is how they learned, I guess, to be very transparent.
Now they are very transparent with what the characters can
Yeah.
do and where they should be in your team. Because unless you're like Tony To and you say, I want to make my Xingqiu do 100,000.
Excuse the sound of phone, folks.
yeah.
That's our food.
Yeah, I
That's
think
the
it just
food we
arrived.
ordered.
But the point is that the devs have to be more specific nowadays, and they are more specific nowadays. They acknowledge this and that, and you know where they should be position wise, right?
Yeah.
That's how they keep fans from hating on each character, right?
Yes.
And the only time the hate comes out is if something that should work doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right? Like some small thing that doesn't, like what happened with Raiden. Like, you would think
Okay.
that interaction works, and it's not even game breaking enough
To matter.
to be a
yeah.
problem. Because
Yeah.
Beito's ult isn't even
It's not even
that fantastic, right? And Raiden isn't even that big of a damage dealer either, right?
True.
Without Constellation, she's just okay.
Because like I've seen videos, like Raiden Shogun. Why does she suck? Or does
She doesn't suck.
Disappointment. Yeah,
Like,
things
she,
like that.
that's the thing, yeah.
Is that because like unlike the Zhongli one, you can argue they set her up as a DPS because she was a boss.
But the thing
But
is,
that's the point of a boss.
the thing is, when they first announced her, when
As the
on the
Raiden
page
Shogun.
itself, for their promotion, on their homepage, it said very there distinctly,
Yeah.
a support.
Yeah. Oh, did it? I didn't know that.
Yes. So
Where did it say that?
it's on the page. When you look at characters released, it distinctly says that Raiden is a support.
Yeah.
It just so happens that she can do damage with her ult.
Yeah, but then what I'm curious and a bit worried about as well with things like that, like there are gonna be fans who they make it transparent and they still don't get it.
And then
Like-
when you get to those fans,
Yeah.
those are the type of fans that the rest of the community hates on.
Yeah, like with Raiden Shogun. You said she's a support.
Just support.
Oh, why isn't she doing so much damage? She's not a DPS.
Exactly. Sure, she
Right?
can do damage. Sure, you can build her to do damage. If you want to see her do damage, watch Tony To.
Yeah, build her.
Build her.
Build her
if
to
you
do
want.
damage if you want.
I mean, it's impossible to reach Tony To's numbers unless you have what Tony To
Everything.
has.
5-star artifacts.
The reason why
Triple
he can
crown.
reach that is because of what he has.
Yeah. 6-star constellation, 5-star, 5-star max
Five
refine.
refinements, everything, best artifacts in the
Triple
universe,
crown.
whatever.
Yeah.
But the point is, if they not doing what you want, even though they say they're not meant to do that, then that's your fault.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
like-
people are stupid. Like, what do you expect them to do?
yeah, I mean, I suppose it's a very thin line. Is
Yeah.
that thing? Like, it's very, very hard to stay on the line. Because oftentimes both can be to blame in many cases.
Yes.
But still, I don't know. Like I'm based on experience, I think people need to realize that not every character is going to be the way you want them to be.
That's exactly the point. You're
Right.
not meant to have everything you want. If they had that, then they might as well just give you a character and you construct
Build
what you
the
want
character
it to.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah,
They did. They built.
You want to develop characters? Go develop a game yourself.
Yeah.
You don't like how it works? Do it
Yeah.
yourself. Like,
All right. So we go
Seriously.
with yeah, perfectly fitting that they're both Archons that we're talking about.
yes.
You had Zhongli straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up, okay, they kind of... I still think, for me, that hate was kind of unwarranted. I still think that you set yourself too high.
There are a lot of people who still don't believe Zhongli should have been buffed. I mean, I know my friends don't believe that he should have been buffed. He was fine.
I see that not as a... I see that more as a... They shouldn't have had to bend for angry simps.
Well, they had... I mean... Okay, I have to say I appreciate the buff. It made
yeah.
his shield a lot stronger. It made Geo as an element a lot more viable to use.
Yeah.
And to think, I mean, he was the first new Geo character that they were adding, and he's the Archon.
Yeah.
So I guess the situation called for he has to be good. They can't
Yeah.
just make him yes. They have to make him wow, you know. But yeah, sure, it's bad to bend.
Yeah,
bad
you
to
can't
bend, but
exactly
sometimes
bend
you-
over backwards every time.
But if you don't want to bend, if Mihoyo doesn't want to bend, then you need to make sure when you set up something, it covers all your bases.
Yeah, like, okay, actually, here's a good scenario to go on. Let's say Zhongli right now, at this very moment,
Yeah?
they released him for the first time. He was like this already.
Yeah? He wouldn't
Would
get hurt.
people still have... No, I think they still would have.
Why?
Because he's still not a DPS.
No. That's the big... I think you kind of misunderstood that
Well, again, I don't have him, I don't know how he works. I don't know
Yeah,
how he
but
plays.
I think you kind of misunderstood what they when they release characters. Just because they're not a DPS is not the reason why people hate on
No,
them.
I know, but
Right?
I think with this specific case, they thought he was. Right?
That's because of how they introduced him back then. Okay, and they learned from that mistake to not do that introduction mistake and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right? People have learned to, if they're a support, accept them as support. That's why
Yeah.
were fine with Kazuha
And Raiden.
and Raiden. Yes,
Although
like
with Raiden,
Raiden's
it's-
role, people don't really. That's the only thing they complained about Raiden is that Beido's interaction doesn't work.
That's it.
That's it. Pretty much that's it.
Oh,
if you
good.
still have other
If there were
complaints,
still complaints
about
her at this
Raiden,
point,
then
that's
I
not
don't
on-
know what
that's
you're
not
doing.
on them. That's on you.
That's on you already. Like, there are characters I believe should have been buffed.
Such
Like
as
Yoimiya. I still think even her arrow should have like a small AoE,
Yeah.
like even a small one, just so it can hit more than one target at least.
Yeah.
But
you
then,
didn't. Yeah, but well, I think the fans also learned to be better as well. You didn't see them complaining. Yoimiya should have been a
well,
stronger.
The
things like
Chinese
that.
people didn't complain about it. Right?
Yeah.
The Chinese fans, because they're the ones who hold the power, because they communicate to Mihoyo directly.
Oh yeah.
Right? But you don't see stuff like that because aside from that one thing, Yoimiya isn't bad.
Yeah.
On all accounts, Mihoyo is
Yeah.
not, or Yoimiya, what the hell am I saying? Yoimiya is not a bad character on all
But
accounts.
she's not
It's just that
what people thought.
she had more potential that they could have used to
Yeah.
make her like, more decent, I guess.
And then, yeah.
To like, cause she has to compete with like Diluc, she has to compete with Klee, and she has to compete with Hu Tao.
Some of the
All
best
these,
characters in the
all of
game.
these pyro people have some AOE,
Yeah,
even
those
though
three are like
even though it's
some of
like
the best
not
characters
necessarily.
in the game too.
Yes, exactly. And sure, maybe you want to release a pyro character that isn't, super OP, but I don't think having a tiny little AOE would make her that OP in the first place.
Alright.
Because
Well, not to be too Genshin about this. Let's see what prime example. Long until recently, has she been a disappointment to the FGO fans? Miyu.
Well,
That felt.
but the thing
She
is,
was bad.
she was bad.
She's not bad anymore.
Not anymore. She's not bad anymore.
But
She's
it took
actually
them
pretty good
how
now.
many years to buff her?
1.5.
That's a long time. To be
Okay.
fair, FGO
If they're
their
notorious.
timetable is very long.
They're
You'll
for
get
this.
it when you get it. You cannot force it. That's what I mean. They never did. They never bend. You get it, you don't like it, too bad.
Yeah,
Use another servant.
because
To be fair, a lot of the servants they release are good.
and
They
FGO's
work.
pool is massive.
It's huge, it's different.
It's
you
massive.
can use substitutes, they exist.
Yes, and like it's not like FGO says you have to use this,
This
to
servant,
do
you have
certain
to do
things,
This servant, yeah.
right? Genshin's problem is they have a limited pool. It's
For
not,
now.
Yeah, for now
It
it's
will
really
increase.
it's a really small pool, and
Yeah.
that's why you're gonna see a lot more complaints about how characters are. But until they get their pool to expand, like big expansion, then you're gonna get complaints like that from stupid people. But
Yeah.
FGO doesn't bend because they don't have to. Because when they release Servant, it's like if you care, you can care about them if you want. But like if you have a problem, just use another Servant. They have somebody else who manages those niches.
I would think that like when FGO itself first came out, there were problems. Like I don't know if there were problems like this. Like,
yes, of course.
for
there are
example,
problems.
Gilgamesh. I don't
Well,
know if there were complaints about him. Like, why is
So-
Gilgamesh not that strong?
Okay, that's the thing.
Because
about
I think he was
FGO's
strong
community.
back then, wasn't it?
That's the thing about FGO's community. We don't complain.
Or if we do, it's about something else.
If we do, it's a perfectly reasonable.
Yeah,
like,
and you
we
rarely,
complain
you
about
rarely
Miyu.
complain about skills.
No, we
they,
don't really
oftentimes they make sense,
Yeah.
even
No,
if they're
okay.
not as good as
And we
had.
complained about Miyu because she was hurting herself too much, so she couldn't do her job too well.
Yeah,
Thus, they buffed her.
yeah. It took them a
But
year
they
and a half
buffed
to do
her.
it, but they buffed
But they
her,
still
exactly.
did it.
In the amount of time, a year and a half, a lot of people could have quit the game by then.
For one servant, I think.
Not
there's-
for one servant, but like FGO people quit for other reasons, like gacha and things like that. I
Yeah.
just think that sometimes fans have no patience.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have
A lot
patience.
of people don't. Yeah.
And I'd like to think, just general rule for gacha games. If you don't have patience, don't play gacha games.
Yeah. Never. Don't.
Go, if you don't have patience to wait, if you don't have patience to
something
work,
else.
if you don't have patience to game, then go play some Call
Something
of Duty
else.
or something. Because
Yeah.
that's definitely more suiting for you.
Yeah. So, I guess to answer the question, what makes a game survive versus the others that fall flat? It's popularity via marketing, external marketing by the creators. It's how the devs handle the game, how they provide the content.
Yeah,
It's
and
how
what
the fans
content they
receive.
provide also.
Yeah, and it's how the fans handle the content. It's partially up to you as well if a game survives or not. Because you, with your feedback, real feedback,
Legit feedback.
they will learn. When they learn, they will change, and when
And
they
they will
change, it
grow.
will go better. They can't fix your problem if you don't tell them what the problem is.
Exactly. And make sure your problem
And it
a
has to be
reasonable
a
basis.
real problem.
It has to be a real problem. Don't just say, I don't like this because it's like that and it doesn't do what I want. Don't be stupid.
That's not a, that's
That's stupid.
yes.
Make sure your problem, it's like actual like proving things. Like when you have a problem, make sure it's a reasonable problem that other people also agree with and that you have evidence to support it. Then they'll fix it.
Yeah.
Look what they did with, look what Mihoyo did with pyrohypostasis. People complained that it didn't have as big of an downtime where you can hit it.
So they fixed
and
it.
They were right. You barely had a few seconds to hit it,
Yeah.
so to do damage.
So they fixed it.
And they fixed it. They
Look
fixed
at,
it.
I remember back when Tartaglia first came out, people were having a hard time fighting him.
Yes,
They fixed it.
They fixed it because if you didn't have like a shield or anything,
You were dead.
he would
He would
kill
kill
you
you.
very quickly.
Unless you killed him first.
Exactly.
He will kill you.
But they fixed him.
They fixed him.
They
killable now.
catered to
He's
more
easier. He's
people
easier.
who didn't have those resources. They made him easier to fight,
Easier to kill.
easier to kill. Yeah. See, they will work off us, but
If-
you guys have
if
to
you're-
make sure that
It's
you're
patience.
using your brain. Yeah.
It's patience to say it correctly, that the issue can be resolved. Not sending them tweets of this sucks.
Yeah, all I have to say to you people who like send out hate on Twitter or
Do something
hate
else with
people,
your
like,
lives.
do something useful with your life. If you spend your time going onto Twitter and hating people, then like maybe
What are you doing?
you have no purpose. Like, do you really think you're doing something useful? Like, who hurt you?
Yeah.
Who
How
gives
could
you
a
the
game
right
hurt you?
either? Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just give you guys a quick sound effect before we have some final thoughts. Alright, so that was a good long conversation too. A good one.
Yeah, pretty long. I'm getting kind of hungry, so
Yeah.
let's wrap it up.
But I think in the end, guys, they can make mistakes. The devs can make mistakes too. But you need to realize as well that just as they can make mistakes, so can you.
Yeah, nobody's perfect.
Yeah, they will make mistakes. There will be characters that don't
Do
perform
what you
well.
want.
They won't be able to do what you want. It doesn't mean they suck.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Get used to it.
because I know I tried to avoid too much of Genshin for this particular show, but it really is applicable to a lot of things. Like, okay, Kokomi is coming out soon.
Yeah.
We kind of know what she does already based on leaks. We've heard about her. We've seen that she can do crazy things. Right? Now, here's where I'm a little worried, especially because I really like Kokomi. She's a hybrid. You remember you said a while ago, DPS, support, hybrid. She's a hybrid.
It's a hybrid.
Now, are they gonna need to tell people this okay, you know how you said Raiden's a support.
Mm-hmm.
Are they gonna have to tell people this character's a hybrid? For them to
They're
get
probably
it?
gonna tell them she's a support.
Yes, but that's where I'm worried. Because you have damage. She has damage, a lot of damage. from the sound of it, right?
Mhm.
And then there are gonna be people who say, "Oh, I want a main Kokomi." Main Kokomi.
Go.
But if you think she was designed to be a DPS, you're crazy. Is that a correct statement?
Mhm.
So, if she doesn't do the numbers you wanted it to, which I think she will,
She definitely will.
understand that she was not designed to do it.
Mhm.
That's the only thing I can say, really. That with a character who I don't know, is she getting popular? Is she not getting popular?
Yeah, she's popular.
Yeah, or Yai Miko when Yai Miko comes out. All we know about Yai Miko, unless you know, like you really know, all we know about her is that she's an electrocatalyst, right?
Yeah.
The only other electrocatalyst in the game is Lisa,
Mhm.
I think.
Yes.
Yes, so that's not a very high bar to pass. Unfortunately. In terms of waifu, that's a different story. But if Yai Miko doesn't perform as well as you think she does, you are basing this on a character that has never seen gameplay to this point. You have only seen her help you train, and you have only seen her in cutscenes.
I think we're looping
We're
already.
looping out this
so
one, but yeah.
let's finish up.
Yeah, so overall, you Ryan, final thoughts?
I think I said everything
You
I
said
wanted
everything?
to say. Yeah.
Alright.
Nothing more.
With that, folks, I guess that's about it.
Yeah.
Just-
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to both of us rant this time.
Mhm.
So yeah, if you think a game is falling flat, tell the devs properly that it's falling flat. Ask them for advice. Ask them for help. Don't be a douche online
Mhm.
because they won't listen to you. And if they won't listen to you, nothing will change, and you'll just be more of a douche.
Yeah. So
Right.
thanks for listening.
But to end on a positive note, because let's be positive towards the end. Not that kind of positive, but you know what I mean.
Mhm.
Any last minute things we can maybe give out? I don't know. Is there some hopeful news there at some point? Anything of the sort that you can
No.
think of? And I really wanted to end on a positive note.
There's nothing to positive though. I mean, that's just how the world is.
All right. Then I guess it's the end for us. Look forward to next week's episode. What we're gonna do, what we're gonna talk about, I have no idea.
We'll
Because I'm
think
the one
about it.
preparing all that stuff.
We'll think about it.
Yeah. Maybe this time you can think of something, and then you just not tell me until we record.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see.
All right. See you, folks.
Thanks
and
for
add
listening.
Astra Abasosk
Yes.
to you all.
Bye.